mean, most of the films you make in your life, are not going to be seen by millions of people. There are very few things that you will ever do if you live to 100 that you think, yeah, whatever happens, people will see this. So I knew it was not going to fly under the radar. It's a Peter Jackson's The Hobbit. It's going to be big. Yeah, I tried not to let outside influences dictate to me. Do you know what I mean? I didn't. It's true when I honestly say I felt no pressure at all playing Bilbo, none at all. Because when you're on set, you're doing the job, and you're in a little cocoon that feels private, and you almost kind of think, you think, well, no one will ever see this film. You just, in the moment, you kind of think we're just doing this for us, And then when it's out in the world, then you would just cross your fingers and hope that people like it. But in the doing of it, I certainly was never thinking ever, I wonder what Tolkien fans will make of this decision of how to play, but ever, or what people online will think. It's like, well, I know more about playing Bilbo than any of those people do. Do you know what I mean? In a culture where everyone, goes, extreme sports, and everyone can travel around the world now. You ask people if you'd like to go to Afghanistan or Iraq, people don't want to fucking go. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we consider the people who do go there very brave and quite heroic. Whether we agree with it or not, as individuals, it's a hell of a decision to make. Most of us don't want to go there, me included. And Bilbo is going into a situation where he knows it's life and death. It's not, snowboarding. It's you could get killed. So it's a very, very attractive proposition to stay in the Shire. Most of us do that. Most of us live in the Shire. Most of us in the first world live in the Shire. That's why we don't choose to go and live in, somewhere war-torn. We're all Bilbo now.
It was wonderful. I love those guys, and they treated me like gold. They were so good to me. I was the only female on set with them most of the time because the dwarves really didn't get a chance to work with Galadriel the way that I got to work with the dwarves. And so I felt they were amazing. I felt like a princess all the time. Boys flirting with me all day.
No, I mean, I was completely on my own. I mean, Martin and I have a really good chemistry on the set of Sherlock, and sadly none of that could come into play with this because of the way the kind of technology and performance needs to be led in. There's no... I think if I'd been there doing a lot of other stuff on the film, I could have possibly just been on set as a voice or a presence or an eyeline, but yeah, it would have been negligible compared to what he was imagining, and likewise what I was imagining from our differing scales. It's one thing to be Gandalf and looking down and, the Hobbit looking up, but this beast is the size of the Empire State Building and breathes fire, and there's very little to relate to other than your imagination. Parents read it to their children. My dad read it to me, and I can't wait to one day read it to my children. I've already started reading it to my godchildren, but it's because it's an incredibly colourful world. It's incredibly imaginative, but at the same time there's something accessible about it. And I think those universal elements mean things like the dragon don't just represent what he originally represented. You could argue he could be a metaphor for capitalism gone wrong. Not that a kid's going to know that, but he's definitely going to pick up that greed isn't good.